One of my favorite verses in the scripture is Luke 5, actually verses 15 and 16. And it says in the New International Version, the news about him spread all the more, meaning Jesus, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and there prayed. And one of the things that I think in some ways I've inherited, which I'm thankful for from my father, is a love of the wilderness. My fast track to hearing God's voice has been to get alone, to find the lonely places that Jesus mentioned in the scripture in Luke 5:16. And in those places in the wilderness, where there's no noise, where all the clutter, the din is removed, then I think differently, I see differently. I look at nature, and nature speaks to me. And Scripture tells us that that's one of the primary ways that God actually reveals His qualities to us, by the things that we see all around us. And Luke 5:16 also speaks to me as well, because it not only talks to me about the necessity of withdrawing away from all the distractions of life, it also tells me that I'm not as important in the midst of life as I sometimes think I am, which adds layers and layers to stress and the burden of all that that comes when we believe that we are the centerpiece ourselves, or even the cornerstone upon which life is built. Jesus is that cornerstone, not us, and we're not as integral a piece as we think we are. It doesn't make us less important. It actually means that we're more important to God in terms of relationship than we are in terms of what we do in life. So there in the wilderness, in the lonely places, those are the places and the times where God speaks to me the most. My dad used to have a favorite poem that he used to quote to me when I was a little boy, and probably many of you have heard it before. But it just said, "The old owl sat on the limb of the oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard." I want to be like that wise old bird. And James speaks to that as well. He says we should be quick to listen and slow to become angry, and quick to hear the voice of God. So in our ebook here, in some of the worksheets, you'll have an opportunity to explore ways that God speaks to us in the solitude of our lives. And we hope that as you work through that, discuss through that with other people, that you also begin to implement that practice in your life, finding solitude, listening to God apart from the distractions of life.